Hello, everyone, and welcome to the YouTube channel of Get Set Law by IMS. I'm your mentor Sanjana Chauhan, and in today's video, we shall be taking a look at the last passage or the sixth passage of CLAT 2023 English language section. As has been previously mentioned, the rest of the videos are already there for you to view, to take a look at. Now, let's focus on the last passage here. Let's start reading it. This is a fictional piece. This is also quite narrative in nature. It says, so pick a bird if commanded. Any bird. This was puzzling. The only bird around here is a wooden peacock. Haroon pointed out reasonably enough, right? If gave a snort of disgust, a person may choose what he cannot see. He said, as if explaining something very obvious to a very foolish individual. A person may mention a bird's name even if the creature is not present and correct. Crow, quail, hummingbird, bulbul, myna, parrot, kite, right? A person may even select. Now, these are not statements that are being made by the author here. These are if statements here. A person may even select a flying creature of his own invention, for example, a winged horse, flying turtle, airborne whale, space serpent, or arrow mouse. To give a thing a name, a label, a handle, to rescue it from anonymity, to pluck it out of the place of namelessness, in short, to identify it. Well, that's a way of bringing the said thing into being, or in this case, the said bird or imaginary flying organism. Right? Read later. That may be true where you come from, Haroon argued, but in these parts, stricter rules apply. To know more, we have to read further. In these parts, rejoined blue-bearded if, I am having time wasted by someone who will not trust in what he can't see. Essentially, if is of the opinion that if you imagine anything, right, even things that are right now not present, you can still summon them if you believe in it, right? Things that you do not see can still exist. How much have you seen? Africa, have you seen it? No. Then is it truly there? And submarines? Also, hailstones, baseballs, pagodas, gold mines, kangaroos, the North Pole, and the past, did it happen? And the future, will it come? Right? Essentially, these are all rhetorical devices that are being implied by if to kind of just establish his point. Believe in your own eyes and you'll get into a lot of trouble, hot water, or mess. So, lot of trouble, hot water, or mess all essentially refers to the same thing, that it will be very problematic here. With that, he plunged his hand into a pocket of his aubergine pajamas, and when he brought it forth again, it was bunched into a fist. So take a look, or I should say a gander again is a look only, at the enclosed. He opened his hand, and Haroon's eyes almost fell out of his head. Tiny birds were walking about on If's palms, and pecking at it and flapping their miniature wings to hover just above it. And as well as birds, there were fabulous winged creature. Fabulous, I'm just highlighting the word because we also have a question based on this, and quite a tricky one in that. Winged creatures out of legends, an Assyrian lion with the head of a bearded man and a pair of large hairy wings growing out of its flanks, and winged monkeys, flying saucers, tiny angels, levitating, right? And apparently air-breathing fish. What's your pleasure? Select, choose. And although it seemed obvious to Haroon that these magical creatures were so small that they couldn't possibly have carried so much as a bitten of fingernail, he decided not to argue and pointed at a tiny crested bird that was giving him a sidelong look through one highly intelligent eye. Right? That's all that the passage is about. Essentially, the main idea is that if is of the opinion that anything that even might not be present, might not really seem logical, something that has not been seen can still exist if you believe that it can exist, right? While Haroon had a more stricter perspective on the same thing, right? Everything else is very descriptive in nature. This is a fictional piece only. Take a look at the questions to follow. If is right, which of the following statement is true? The correct option here will be option D. Look at option A. It says you should only trust what you cannot see. Now look at the word only. That again limits the scope, also something not implied by the passage, hence A is out. B says naming something is the only way to make it unreal. Absolutely incorrect. We can eliminate it. Right? C, You should only trust what you can see. Now, this is something that Harun believed more, and if was completely opposite the idea, right? So C2 is out and D is the correct option. It says naming something is one way to make it real. It's also given in the first part of the passage, right? Take a look at the next question. Which of the following applies to if? The correct option here will be option B. A says he speaks in contradictions. No, there is no contradiction that is being employed in his statements. B says he has a habit of speaking in synonyms, right? And note how there's a statement in the passage which says, believe in what you can see and you will be in a lot of trouble, hot water and mess, which is essentially if using words redundantly and just using a lot of repetition, right? And therefore, the correct option here will be option B, because hot water, trouble, mess pretty much are the same thing, right? All three of them. C says he uses proverbs to express ideas. No proverbial expression has been used in the passage. And D says he uses metaphors to describe things. No, he's not comparing things to other things, right? So the correct option here is going to be option B. Next question. Which of the following most accurately describes what the underlined sentence means in the context of the passage? The correct option here will be option A. Do not restrict your knowledge only to what you can physically see. Rest of the options can be very easily be eliminated. Option B says accept everything you see uncritically. This just kind of makes the option very extreme. C says trusting your senses is a recipe for success. This is kind of going off the tangent. And D says learn not to appreciate viewpoints other than your own. This again is very, very contrary, to the peripheral idea that can be inferred from the passage. And therefore D is out as well. Correct option here will be option A. Next question is pretty much a vocabulary based question. Was easy as well. All the words below are related in meaning except. So levitate, fly and hover all mean being there in the air, while gander is more to the sense of seeing or the eye, right? So gander means taking a look at something, while levitate, fly and hover can be categorized as coming under one category only, which is to do with movements in the air. And therefore, the correct option here will be D, because this is the exception here. Next question, and pretty much the most tricky question of this lot, no matter how easy the passage seemed to the students, right? What does fabulous mean in the passage? Now, if you take a look at the dictionary meaning of fabulous, it has two meanings. The first one is something which is exceptionally of good quality, brilliant, fantastic. The second one means something which is imaginary or unreal. And hence, in the passage, when the phrase is used, fabulous creatures, it implied mythical creatures, right? And therefore, the correct question here will be option C, something which is not really real, right? Rest of the options that way can be eliminated. Very good can be eliminated. B says unbelievable, it's out. And C will be the correct in the context of the question given, right? So that was all about the session. Hope you've understood everything. Thank you so much for viewing it.